Good to see you. Good to see you. What's up?
Yeah. Help yourself.
There you go. I'll let her cross.
Yeah. You're welcome.
I've been meaning to call you do commercial on my company my father works with, they're getting rid of commercial real estate. Oh, really? I've been meaning to.
Is it an office?
Warehouse, just a small storefront. Okay. So I'll give you a call. I just mean to call you.
KeithNash.com.
I don't want to do it. I just want to refer everything. Sure. So I can do a lot of stuff. I just want to know enough to make sure you feel like I'm servicing out for them. So I'll give you a call and we can talk about it. I just shouldn't listen.
You want to give me a call or?
I'll give you a call or you can call me if you have
Okay, sounds great. Thank you. I mean, I'll stand and I'll just sit and kind of move back and forth. It's like my collapse. It's not structurally. It's not sound. You're saying I'm heavy? Yeah. This is a good quality item. It's got Sacco. It's got. I see your billboards all over the place. Yeah, but they're just had somebody and you need a warm introduction. I'll take it from I know all the commercial workers pretty much in St. Louis. Sure. Who'd you deal with? Steve B6. Oh, yeah, that's why back. Yeah, and so I got a call from him. Grandmother, he was all 8 acres of commercial property in Colorado. It was all Nash Park over there. I said, yeah, I'm going to call you right back. So I called a couple times. 25% referral fee. 2.1 million. We had offers in 2 months. It was very cool how we negotiated. We didn't really know and it was really a good process. Yeah, that's the kind of stuff like Meadows is and like St. Louis. I was connected. Two grand was a lot of what's being done like St. Louis is that lots like nursery, TLC nursery on the they're in like St. Louis. On the south side. Ladies and gentlemen! How are you guys doing today? There's a lot of energy in here.
I'm a great salesperson! I'm a great salesperson! I'm a great salesperson! I'm a great salesperson! I'm a great salesperson!
You're a great salesperson! You're a great salesperson!
I'm a great salesperson! I'm a great salesperson!
Still here. Actually, guys, before we start the meeting today, I did want to go ahead and give the floor to Cheryl Snow.
Next Thursday is actually one of my favorite days in Keller Williams. It is actually Red Day. For those of you who are not familiar, it's our opportunity to give back to the community that we live in. And this year, we've actually worked in partnership through a lot of hard work with Cheryl and all of the constituents that you work with special spaces. If you're at the last power meeting, you know a little bit about that program. Cheryl's going to give you a quick vision of exactly what that is and what's going on next Thursday and how you guys can participate, whether it be there personally or also financially. So, Cheryl, take it away.
Next Thursday, we're going to be doing Keller Williams Red Day in special spaces. There's a girl that has cancer, and she's been battling it, and we are doing an extreme makeover on her room. And so I do the interior design on that. We have the volunteers already, thankfully enough. And then what we're really looking at is getting more money. We are trying to raise $3,000 for the room. Right now, we have $700 that's already pledged, and then we have $700 that is already promised. So we still are lacking in those funds. We do have the flooring that is donated. We have paint that is donated. We have people that are doing installs that is also being donated through that work. So if there is, we're going to be passing out sheets. What John wanted to have done is that these sheets for people to donate, you can put the money that you want to donate, and we can actually have it taken out of the office funds, or it'll be applied to your fund or your office bill. So if you have any questions, please feel free to give me a call. Also, Gina is going to be assisting as well. Her whole entire team is assisting as well. So if you have any questions, please let me know. Mark?
You know what I think we should do? I think we should go ahead and fill out those sheets and announce how much money is being raised in this room today.
Oh, that'd be awesome. Yeah, very much.
How much how much you need for the renovation? How much
We're
budget?
hoping about $3,000. Her room ended up being a little bit bigger than anticipated because it was a basement in the basement. She ended up building it out, but there was no room built out. So when I showed up there a couple of weeks ago, I was like, okay, this is a lot bigger than I thought. So we are already having a ton of furniture. It's being shipped to the house and everything like that. But John was also mentioning something about a happy hour.
Yeah, so one of the things, since we've got, obviously there's, a bedroom's only so big. We all can't fit into the bedroom and start wheeling a hammer. That'd probably be somewhat dangerous. So we do want to go and have a little bit of community involvement and participation. So we're going to invite everybody to a happy hour that afternoon. And it's going to be a party with a purpose, if you will, to go ahead and raise more funds for future projects. So stay tuned for that information as well. It's probably somewhere between 4 and 6.
Need a few more of these for the hall.
We're working on it.
Here, how many people have signed up to work so far?
We have 15 volunteers right now.
And that's probably enough?
Yeah, and we do have somebody that is also donating food, bringing food as well. So
Why I ask, because all of us in here are probably really busy. If you need me or somebody else in here, I'm sure we're willing to volunteer.
Right.
You need more people, but if not, I would just donate money. So I'm kind of wondering.
Is that where you're at?
yeah, we really, I mean, we get too many people, and then it's
Okay.
kind of like bottlenecking. People are standing
Lord,
around.
diminishing
So
returns.
yeah, we got the volunteers. So right now it's just raising the funds.
Okay.
And then really to kind of have more of a community feel and a celebration of the day, we're going to go and have that kind of party with purpose, if you will, with a
Is that
happy
next
hour.
door?
Likely, I haven't confirmed with them yet. Keith?
Well, it's $3,000 per room, right? Not total?
Right.
Yes.
3,000 per room. Okay.
That
So
is correct.
6,000.
Well, we are focusing right now on just one room.
Okay, so
It was originally 2.
okay, so we're focusing on one room. Is the happy hour going to be focusing on the next room? Is that the point of
We're
that?
going to build funds for the next project, whatever that might be.
Okay.
Did you say how much money you have so far? I'm sorry.
700.
Okay.
And then an additional 700 has been promised, so we've got
Okay.
about 1,400.
So instead of 2 half rooms, we're focusing on one right now and
Correct.
get
We're going to master one room and go on to the next. All right.
All right, thank you guys.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks,
Appreciate
Cheryl.
it.
Thanks, Cheryl.
Appreciate it. So So guys, I've got to ask you, has the market changed a little bit for you over the last 3, 4, 5 months?
Weeks.
How so? Hopping? What does that mean?
As soon as you get something listed and go under contract, or if you're working with buyers, it's hard to compete. You're competing with lots of other buyers for those properties.
I agree. So there's a little competition out there. You're using some different tools in the tool belt that maybe you haven't used in the past.
Right.
Right? Well, it actually, I was reminded of actually an individual a little over a decade ago. She went through some pretty extreme adversity. A 14-year-old surfer, you might know her name, Bethany Hamilton. Is it, right? She's a surfer. Does anybody know what happened to Bethany? It's not funny. What happened to Bethany?
Shark.
At 14, she was a professional surfer, and a shark bit her arm, right? Bit off, right? And then over the course of time, Bethany said, you know what, I could let this go ahead and basically terminate my career, or I could go ahead and retool and get back up on the surfboard. And so she had to change some things up, right? She had to change some things up. Does anybody know what's happened to Bethany since then? Not only is she surfing, she's become one of the most premier women surfers in the nation right now. So, how does that relate to you and what's going on in your business right now? A little retooling, right? Did Bethany have to retool? Are you guys having to retool a little bit? So what's different for you? What's different in the market for you? What's causing that change?
A lack of inventory.
The lack of inventory. You guys want to know a little bit more about that inventory right now?
Yeah.
Do we care to know? So I just looked at this morning. The active inventory, this is all of the entire MLS. The entire MLS, this is how many active properties are on the MLS. So every county that it services, 15,034 active listings. This time last year, there were 16,390 listings. That's 9% off, right? 9% off. So if that listing inventory is shrinking, what type of pressures is that putting on me as an agent?
Be on top of things.
Gotta be on top of things. How so? I heard competition over here. So if there's competition, do I need to work on my skills?
A lot more marketing too.
More marketing?
A lot more marketing, yeah. Focusing a lot on 33 touch, getting your sphere of influence in there, really touching those people a lot. And then focusing a lot on your farming area, really honing in on an area, being an expert in specific areas instead of just trying to be an expert in St. Louis County.
So being the expert. I agree. Having a laser focus.
Totally agree with that. There's just a lot of money moving around out there right now, so being responsible as an agent, capitalizing as much as the seller can get, fair market value. There's a lot of money moving around, a lot of negotiations, and it's exciting.
I agree.
So,
And watch for the buyers. When you're working buyers, you gotta be watching for them constantly. Any new listing that comes up, you need to get them there right away.
There's some urgency with it.
put your photos in the MLS.
Photos of the MLS.
If you got time.
I saw that Facebook post the other day.
Well, what's happening is you can look at 70 homes with a buyer on the computer in 5 minutes, and then as soon as, like Chris said, as soon as the listing does come on, it's in everybody's inbox. And if you don't have photos or remarks, it's hard to.
Well, my clients are driving by, they're not waiting. Why would you wait for photos?
Yeah.
If you wanna buy a house in this market,
Yeah.
So I know that a lot of you guys have been focusing on your listing inventory. As a market center, we're focusing on our listing inventory. What's so important about that listing inventory while the inventory is shrinking? We're off 9% over this time last year. Why is it important for you guys to hold that inventory?
Because we want to be the water in the desert.
There it is, right? You want to be the water in the
I
desert.
keep saying that all the time, but since you said that, you said that.
Actually, I gotta give credits to Scotty.
Scotty.
Oh, Scotty said it, oh yeah, Scotty said it.
Sorry, Scott, was he here?
Yeah, I do wanna be that water though.
He can hear it.
With me.
Right? So I asked that question at Power Hour this morning. There were a few things that came up, right? Working with listings can also impact us financially a little bit stronger, right? What, can I work with 20 active listings? that actually want to sell their house today? Can I work with 20 active buyers that want to buy today with consistency?
No.
So maybe it's a time management tool, right? So if I'm out there and I'm wanting to educate those prospective sellers, do you think they might want to know about some of the things that are going on in the industry? Can I share something with you that I took note of today? So I've sensed and I've feeled, and we've all kind of talked about how the market's changing, right? And that there's potentially a difference in sale price. Another number I took from the MLS this morning really validated your guys' thoughts and what's kind of going through your mind. In January, the average sale price for all markets that the MLS serves was $166,000. $166,000. And in April, it was $174,000. That's a 4.8% difference. Do you think 5% in a house valuation could make a difference for somebody that was just maybe eking by?
Yes.
Maybe there's fewer people underwater
Yes.
that were hostage to their home over the last 3-4 years. Is that stuff that I might want to communicate with my sellers right now? And that's evidence right there. That's not just my emotion. That's evidence. And some of you guys are using that evidence to your advantage. So what are some of the things that you guys are doing to create a lot of success in your business? And this is, again, not the time to be modest, but there's a ton, and I'm talking a ton, of great things that are happening with each one of your businesses, because you've been so kind to allow me to celebrate in your successes, so I'm aware of them. And so if you don't share them, I'm going to have a conversation with you, right? So what are some of those things that are working in your business?
We are doing the coming soon when we have an MLS exempt, because we have a couple houses right now that are going on the market next week, but they need paint and carpet. But we're not delaying on putting up the sign. We do the listing at the MLS exempt. We've got a call today on somebody that's showing one of ours that, I mean, it might sell before.
Might sell before it even gets on the market.
And we've gotten several calls picking up buyers off our company.
So being purposeful, I think that's brilliant, by the way. I mean, our days on market shrinking,
Yeah.
right? So is it a little bittersweet when you get the sales sold that first day? You're like, woohoo, but man, I can't get a buyer, right? But this
Yeah.
is maybe a way to go ahead and attract more buyers by having those coming soon, right?
Yeah.
I agree with that. Good job, I love it. Cool. What else, guys? What else is happening? I
I've
know you're
had,
bubbling up with ideas.
well, I've had quite a bit of success. Last 7 days, 7 contracts. Another one came in last
Wow.
night, thanks to Dave.
Wow.
3 listings, one under contract. It's all about accountability for me. And answering you daily or coming to these sessions, power meeting sessions. They're a lot of fun. And we feed off of each other.
So I gotta ask you here, some people haven't bought into Power. Some people haven't bought into Power Hour. For those of you who saw this up here before you came in, what was the dollar amount? There was 5 people, 5 agents that were making calls this morning for exactly 1 hour, actually a little bit less than that, using our average sale price and the average conversion of getting appointments to closings of 44%, which is not where I want to be, but that's what the number is. What was the dollar amount per agent that was made in 1 hour?
It was $4,229.86.
And my goal today is just to make sure that this hour is worth $100, right? Remember I've told you that to make it a compelling reason for you guys to come, I got to make it worth at least $100. And to go to the Power Hours, it's worth $4,200 for you. Just saying, guys, just saying. Just throwing that out there. All right, so what else? What are some other good things that are happening? Give me a couple other good ideas. Good things that are happening in your business. I'm gonna point you guys out if you don't start sharing.
Well, I don't know if it's, I guess it's good, but it's our systems and our time and trying to figure out how to get everything done is kind of being stretched a little bit. So it's making me more mindful of what I'm doing daily.
So you're being more
As long as I
purposeful
don't
with your
forget
day,
things.
right?
Yeah.
So you're
Yeah.
starting to work by a calendar rather than just kind of
Yeah.
tending to
Yes.
whatever fire shows up.
Yes, I'm working on that.
Love it. That's the major topic of our conversation after lunch today, if you care to stick around, right? About working with a calendar. Guys, what else is happening out there? Laura, I know you've had a lot of success in your business recently. What's happening in your world?
We just continue to market
you know, the numbers, and I'm always big about spreading the numbers and the statistics, and we have certain farm areas that, of course, I've farmed for 20-plus years, and I've gone through my SOI lately because I've got a lot of past clients that have lived in their house 10, 15, 20 years as well, that it seems like it's a great time, of course, to cash that in. So we're really working a lot on that. I've got a huge SOI, so doing a lot on that these days.
So and you know, one of the first words you say was we continue, right? So that implies that there's consistency.
Absolutely. We don't stop one way or the other. I mean, if things get good, that's excellent, but there's still the future. So, and when, you know, vice versa for us.
How are you making contact with the SOI? By email, calling them? How you
Calling them,
contacting
email, and hard mail.
That's great.
Consistency.
Lori, can I ask what kind of ratio have you been tracking on the
Well,
hard mail?
I
end of
closed
it?
5 listings in the past 30 days, and they were all past clients that I sold the house to 12, 15 years ago. If you look in the history, you'll see I was a selling agent that long ago for them. So
You're following up on your SOI.
I'm trying my
Good job.
best, yeah. And in my first years, of course, long ago, that wasn't the big thing, you know, having the SOI and things like that. And long ago, it was done for us. We put a name, and then it was put into a marketing system that continued to keep up with them for 5 years. But after that, you literally needed to pick it up and carry on, or you got lost, you know, they got lost by the wayside. So
Good job.
I was really lucky and early on picking up and making sure I had a good database.
Love it. I love it. So follow-up matters.
Big time.
There's a lot of great things that are happening with some of the short sales cycles or the fast sales cycles, right? And one of those fast sales cycles are open houses. One of the reasons that I'm a huge advocate of open houses in this market is because so few agents really do follow up the way Lori does, right? That shows up in the statistics. About 85% of the people that are interviewed say that they'd actually use their agent again. 11% actually do. The number one reason cited for that variance is because they can't find the realtor. So they certainly can't be following up with them, can they? They can't find them. Right?
Yeah, funny enough, I had a person I've got listed right now call my old office, and they did proceed, of course, to tell them I no longer worked there, and they weren't sure where I went, but that they could help them, and they did indeed go on a listing appointment at the house. Meanwhile, the homeowner was proficient enough to track me down, and I went as well once he found me, and I took the listing.
There you go. I like it.
There you go.
Woo!
That's making the Dillick difference.
Thank
The
you.
Dillick difference. Bring in the levity, I like it. So there's some good things happening with the open houses. Debbie's had some recent success with that. Share with me a little bit about what's going on in your world with some of the open houses.
That's how I get my buyers, and I'm also going on a listing appointment from an open house. And this is the second time I got a contract on the actual open house.
That's rare.
In less than a year.
Wow, in less than a year.
In less than a year.
So would you see open houses work?
Oh,
You're a believer. I like it. Very good. All right, one or two other things before we kind of get rolling here. Edwina.
John, one thing we've been doing in launch too is staying focused, because when you get really busy, and some of the agents are having 3 closings a month and they get all wound up in that, is to stay focused. But we've also suggested that you take a whiteboard or whatever and put it in your office at home or in the kitchen or whatever it is, and put the day of the week on it. If, okay, I'm showing property this day, or I'm gonna take a listing, and to involve the family as a buy-in, because then they're gonna say, oh, what are you gonna be doing today, kind of thing. And they said it's made such a big difference, because now they understand what they're doing and when they're doing it, when they're gonna be home. And I said, do it on Sunday night, sort of plan out your week on Sunday night. And they, now that, you know, the kids can run, they say, oh, mom's on listing today, or she's going to show
Well, yeah, it creates an inclusive environment at
It
home
does.
too,
It's a
right?
buy-in.
I love it. That's great. I like it. Well, that's great, guys. I mean, you know, so as an evidence, you know, from our conversation there, our market center is a summation of all of your guys' successes, and we're having lots of them right now. And so you guys know that we're on the 399 initiative, and that really is the quest for success. And you know, if we have that listing inventory in our inventory, and assuming no conversion ratios improve, we'd actually hit the goals financially that we want to achieve for our market center, not only that, for each one of the agents participating in it. So that goal was actually set to be accomplished May 19th. Does anybody know how many working days that is from now? many working days?
13.
13 working days. That includes today, right?
That includes today.
So if you want to participate in this, we've got 340 listings. Actually, Friday, we had 358 listings. So how do we go backwards? Too darn good. You got them under contract. It's a great problem to have, right? So
For
we're
every one you sell, you gotta list 2.
There you go. Exactly right. So we're 60 listings shy there, which means we need to go ahead and get 120 listings over the next 13 days. And then we get to introduce ourselves to the next phase of this quest, if you will. And so what I'm going to ask each of you guys to do today is to identify how many listings that you want to take for your business. How many listings you want to take for your business over the next 13 days? I'd like you to think about that today. Because what's going to happen is once we go ahead and take that listing inventory, it's going to introduce us to the next phase of our quest, right? And for that, I'm extremely excited to partner with an individual that I think that you guys very well know, and Brian Kelsey. So I'm going to invite Brian up and give him a big Keller Williams Realty. Conversation. I told Brian we'd have a pretty casual conversation about some of the things that led us to today. Sure. What exactly we're doing, and kind of anything else that you want to elaborate there. So, really, Brian, this is your time. And guys, whatever questions, comments, concerns, excitements, I want to invite. So please don't hesitate, because I know Brian's very excited to have an opportunity to meet with each of you and find out ways that we can go ahead and grow your business as well. But before I get into some of that stuff, I'll digress. Actually, Brian, what kind of led you to today? For those of us that might not know you, and maybe your background, maybe you could share a little bit with us about that.
I started with Gunmaker, never heard of him. And I was, my story is back in 1985, I was a computer programmer for Schnucks. You know the barcode and shelf labels you see in the grocery stores? I wrote software programs for Schnucks. We did it for Dearborn's, National, Kroger, South Christian Bell, Federal Express, things like that. The company offered me a job to move to California as a programmer. And I said, I don't want to program any longer. I want to go into sales with the grocery store. So they offered me a job in Newark, New Jersey. No offense if you're from Newark, but I wasn't going to go there. So they offered me what's called a POTC, a permanent opportunity to seek employment elsewhere. They let me go. And was what I made. I used to what I made in a year. I eventually made in a week as a realtor. So it seemed like a really bad thing when they said, Brian, we're letting 2 people go today, and you're one of them. And I was pretty upset at the time, but it was really a blessing in disguise. And so eventually I became a manager with Prudential, and then I was RE/MAX's top agent in St. Louis. Eventually I was Coldwell Banker's top agent. I was #1 male realtor for 5 years. And eventually I finished #2 realtor. We're talking about affirmations. If you guys would, I'm #1. I'm considered. In the 1980s, I said I'm the #1 realtor in the state of Missouri. I'm in my 20s. I had no business saying I'm going to do that. But it was the affirmations, the belief system that I'm the #1, I'm the #1. I had no idea what I was doing, but it was the affirmations about what I'm going to become, not what I am right now. And so, it leads me to today. Eventually, I wanted to coach agents across the nation. I work with a lot of realtors, a lot of lenders. I'm not going to do any personal production. That's not what my goal is. I had the opportunity as a few months back, my wife Karen, can you stand up? Karen and I, a couple months back, started thinking about what is it I really want to do. And I've been helping a lot of realtors build pipelines, land accounts, that kind of a thing. We're not getting compensated for it. And so I decided, a lot of different brands I could have spoken, a lot of different leaders. And I would say that I live in Baldwin. Cotterville is not the closest office to my house. But when I was looking at getting back into this, and so we're building what's called the Excelsior Group, not the Kelsey Group, which I used to have. I used to own Relocation Realtors. I owned a company called Downtown Living Realtors. I had about 7 different brands that I ran.
And so when I got back into this, I decided to call it the Excelsior Group. And I'm building a team of realtors where, and I had a lot of leaders that managers that I could have selected. And again, Cottage was nowhere near my house, but I would say John and Scotty